Dear students, in this class we are going to discuss about the testing of hypothesis in the following topics. First topic is introduction, procedure, the testing of hypothesis, large sample test or normal test, T test or small sample test, F test, chi-square test. First title is Introduction to Testing of Hypothesis. Introduction. Important terms in this chapter: population, sample, parameter and statistic, standard error, test of significance, null hypothesis, alternative hypothesis, errors in sampling. So we will discuss one by one. First topic, population. So in the testing of hypothesis, the main aim of the testing of hypothesis is to know the character of a big population. That means a big data. So here in a statistical investigation, the interest is usually lies in the assessment of general magnitude and the study of variation with respect to one or more attributes or characters relating to individuals belonging to a group. So we are going to discuss the character of a big group. The group of individuals is called population or universe. Simply, the population is called the universal set. That is, that contain everything. Otherwise, it is also known as a lot. The population may be finite or infinite. The population has two types. One is known population, one more is unknown population. What is called the known population and unknown population? Here we are going to discuss about the character of the population. Sometimes all the specifications of the population are known, or all the specifications, not even a single specification is not known. What are the situations for this? In case one company giving the order to a small industry, then they will not give simply a order to them, a small industry. They will give all the specification of the population. That means if they are producing a car product, a big company producing a car product, they are giving the order to a small industry with a small screw or some bolt. So if they are producing some bolt, even that bolt, they have to give all the specifications of the bolt. What is the head radius, what is the length of the bolt, what is the how many screws should be there in that, then everything they should given. So at the time we know all the specifications of the lot. That is known as known population. Then what is the difference between known population and unknown population? For unknown population, in case if you are going for the survey in some other some particular area, before going to that particular area, we don't know anything about the population. That means what is the literate, how many of them are literate, how many male and females are there, what is the individual income of this area, we don't know anything about that. That type of situation is not the unknown population. So here if you take that big population, if you take that one big population, we are not able to test that the big population, a lot, or the universal set. That time we go for that alternate way. That alternate way is that we have to collect a small subset from the universal set. The small subset of the universal set is called the sample. See that population may be finite or infinite. We are collecting a finite subset from the population, that is called the sample. See the definition of the sample: a finite subset of the statistical individuals in a population is called sample. The number of individuals in a sample is called sample size. That means you are collecting a sample from the population. The number of elements in the sample set is called the sample size. That is denoted by small n. There are two types in that sample. One is small sample, one more is big sample. So what is the difference is, if the sample size is less than 30, that is called a small sample. If the sample size is greater than 30, that is called a large sample. So this is a simple diagram to understand what is the testing of hypothesis, or what is actually we are doing that testing of hypothesis. See, this is the universal set population. What is the main aim of this testing of hypothesis? No, this way. That means what is the character of the population. Now we are not able to test that the whole population, so we are collecting the random sample, small random sample we are taking. Then from the random sample we can calculate some statistic values. That means we can find the mean, we can find the variance, or we can find the proportions, like that. Then we are comparing that the population value and the sample value. Then we can get some information from that this values, this statistic. Then we come to a conclusion whether we are going to accept or reject that population. I repeat that first we consider the population, then we are collecting the sample, then we are calculating some mathematical measurements from the sample. Based on the sample value, we can take these values as a population value. What is the need of the sampling? So main aim is sampling can save time, energy and money. A sample study is usually less expensive than census study and produces a result at a relatively faster speed. That means, so even if you are going to test a large value, it will take more time and we have to spend more money. Therefore, the sample, collecting a sample is only way to reduce good result. Reduce our time and money to produce that same result. Sampling seems to be only way when population contains infinitely many numbers. In case the population is infinitely many numbers, then sampling is the only way. If the units are destroyed in course of inspection, in case explosive materials are there, so if you are going to test the explosive materials, we are not able to test 100%, or even it is not possible practically. So therefore, only way is that sampling. So these are the few points of the need of the sampling. Distinction between parameter and statistic. Actually, we are considering two values. One is the population value and one more is the sample values. So we can find that the population mean standard deviation, that mean mathematical measurements. Similarly, we can find that mathematical measurements of samples. So we need to differentiate that both parameter and statistics. So how to differ that parameter and population and sample? Through this term, parameter and statistic. So what is a parameter here? Parameter means the mathematical measurements of the population are called parameters. The mathematical measurements of the sample are called statistic. Now see that the notation population mean is mu, sample mean is x bar, population standard deviation is sigma, sample standard deviation is s. So through the notation we can differ that population and sample. So with the name also we can differ that parameter. The mathematical measurements of the population are the parameters. The sample mathematical measurements are that statistic. Standard error. See the sampling distribution or the sampling distribution of the statistic. Actually what is called the sampling distribution? Sampling distribution mean the table format of x mu, sample 1, sample 2, sample 3 we can collect that. For that we can find that x1 bar, x2 bar, x3 bar, and then we can find the standard deviation also. If s1 square, s2 square, s3 square, like that. If you are writing all the values as a table, that is called the sampling distribution. So if you are finding the standard deviation of the sampling distribution, that is called the standard error. The term may also be used to refer an estimate of that standard deviation derived from the particular sample used to compute the estimate. Test of significance. So it is a very important term. A very important aspect of the sampling theory is the study of test of significance. Significance means it is like finding the difference. Finding the difference between that sample and the population. So what is the main aim to find that the difference between sample and the population? To accept or reject the population. In case if it is lies with that population and the sample, or the difference is very less between that population and sample, then we can reject or accept the population based on the nature of the problem. So here can see that what is the test of significance definition. A very important aspect of the sampling theory is the study of test of significance, which enable us to decide the basis of sample results. If the deviation between observed sample statistic for unknown population, see for known population, we are having one population and the sample value, because already we know all the specifications of the population and we are collecting the sample from the population, then we are calculating that mathematical measurements, then we are comparing that population and sample. Therefore the deviation between observed sample statistic and hypothetical parameter. So here what is called the statistic? In the last two slides I explained what is called a statistic. The mathematical measurements of the sample is called a statistic. So what is the parameter here? Parameter is the mathematical measurements of the population. So we are going to compare that the mathematical measurements of population and sample. That means that is we are going to discuss about that there is any deviation between that sample value and population value. It is for the known population. Second one is for unknown population. You know what is the unknown population? Unknown population means there is no idea about that the value of the population. Therefore in case if you are collecting only one sample, within the one sample result you are not come to a conclusion about the population. At the time we have to collect the two samples. So we are calculating that values of two samples and then we are comparing sample 1 and sample 2 results. So therefore the deviation between two sample statistic is significant or not. That is, it may be different or not, we are going to test. So there are two types of the test in this. One is comparing that sample and the population, one more is sample 1 and sample 2. So first one is for known population, second one is for unknown population. Null and alternative hypothesis. So if you are doing some experiment, first we have to set some aim. So how to set the aim? Before going to that experiment, we are set the aim. So how to set the aim? As a statement. So what is the statement here? See that for applying the test of significance, we first set up the hypothesis. Hypothesis means aims, that nothing, it is nothing but aim. Okay, the hypothesis is the definite statement about the population. So what is the definite statement about the population? Based on the physical nature of the problem. Based on the physical nature of the problem, we are set up the hypothesis. It may be that in the positive way or negative way. First we have to set up the hypothesis. It is like the it is the statement actually. The null hypothesis H naught is the claim of no difference in the population. The null hypothesis H naught is the claim of no difference in the population. H 0, 0 means null. H means hypothesis. H means hypothesis. 0 means null. Null hypothesis. Null hypothesis. So what is called the null hypothesis? Now we are going to compare that sample and the population. We are going to compare the sample and the population. So when we are comparing that sample and the population, first we have to set that there is no difference between that sample and the population. First we have to set up that there is no difference between sample and the population. So this type of statement is no difference between the sample and the population. So this can be written as no difference, null difference, null difference. So null hypothesis. Simple. If the null hypothesis is always state that no change or no difference for known population. So what is the notation of the null hypothesis? H naught. For the known population, sample value equal to population value. Sample value equal to population value for known population. For unknown population, sample 1 value equal to sample 2 value. Here just I am writing that mean. It may be that variance, it may be the proportion. Okay, sample proportion equal to population proportion, or sample variance equal to population variance. Based on the problem, we can write. Here I am writing as an example sample mean and population mean, sample 1 mean and sample 2 mean. Always null, keep it in mind, always the null hypothesis is equality. Okay. So next we are going to discuss about that alternative hypothesis H suffix 1. Alternative hypothesis means, so null hypothesis says that no difference. Alternative hypothesis says that the contradictory of the null hypothesis. So what is a contradictory statement? Null hypothesis says always equal. Contradictory statement means not equal, inequality. So contradictory to the null hypothesis is the alternative hypothesis. If we want to test the null hypothesis that the population is specified mean mu naught, then H naught is mu equal to mu naught. So already we discussed that null hypothesis is there is no difference between sample value and population value. The alternative hypothesis would be what? Inequality. Mu is not equal to mu naught, mu less than mu naught, mu greater than mu naught. So either there are 3 cases are there for every problem. Either one of them you have to use. Possible 3 cases are there. Once again I tell, for the alternative hypothesis every problem there are 3 possible cases are there. We have to choose any one of the alternative hypothesis based on the physical nature of the problem. I will explain what is the physical nature of the problem in the next slide. So here null hypothesis is H naught mu equal to mu naught, H1 is mu is not equal to mu naught, H1 mu less than mu naught, H1 mu greater than mu naught. Here is not equal to is there, that is called the two-tailed test. That is called two-tailed test. That mu less than mu naught is left tail test, mu greater than mu naught is right tail test. This left tail test and right tail test are also known as one tail test. Both test 2 and test 3 are known as one tailed test. So you have to remember only two tests, one is two tail test, one more is one tail test. And then the applying the alternative hypothesis is very important for the problem, particular problem. That fixing that alternative hypothesis is very important, because the setting that a null hypothesis is very simple. Always you have to fix that sample value equal to population value or sample 1 value equal to sample 2 value. But fixing the alternative hypothesis is that important. You have to decide that alternative hypothesis based on the physical nature of the problem. So what is the importance of alternative hypothesis? H1. The setting of alternative hypothesis is important to decide whether we have to use the single tail test or two tail test. Applying the one tail or two tail test for a particular problem depends entirely on the nature of the alternative hypothesis. So for example, consider two population brands of bulbs, one manufactured by routine process and the other manufactured by new technique. Case 1, if we want to test that if the bulbs differ significantly, here we are not comparing that which one is better, which one is inferior, okay, just we are testing that the bulbs differ significantly. Then the null hypothesis is H naught mu 1 equal to mu 2. Of course, see, H naught is no difference. No difference means mu 1 equal to mu 2. It is that common for all the problem. Always you have to set up that null hypothesis as equality statement only. So under the alternative hypothesis will be H1. Mu 1 is not equal to mu 2. This gives us two-tailed test. That is, we are going to test only that bulbs differ significantly. That is, there is any significant difference between new process and routine process. Okay. So case 2. Case 2 is, suppose we want to test that bulbs produced by new process have higher average life than the routine process. Here we are comparing that new process and routine process, which one is better. So here, in case if we want to test that bulbs produced by new process, that is you have to fix that new process is better than the routine process. Then the null hypothesis is same. Null hypothesis will not differ. H naught mu 1 equal to mu 2. Here also H naught mu 1 equal to mu 2. But this alternative hypothesis will change, since mu 1 less than mu 2. Mu 1 is the mean of the old technique, that means routine process. Mu 2 is that mean lifetime of the bulbs of new technique process. So mu 1 less than mu 2, then only we can prove that the new process technique is better than the routine process. Okay, that is the second case. In case, so this gives us the left tail test. Case 3. Case 3 is, suppose we want to test that bulbs produced by new process is inferior to that of the routine process. Listen, so here new process is inferior. That means they want to prove that the routine process is better than the new process. So what is the mean mu? Mean of the routine process mu 1 and mean of the new process is mu 2. So what is the null hypothesis here? Null hypothesis H naught is mu 1 equal to mu 2. The alternative hypothesis is mu 1 greater than mu 2, since the lifetime of the routine process is having that higher average life than the new process. So based on the question given in the problem only, you have to fix the alternative hypothesis. This gives us the right tail test. So how many test, how many possible tests are there? One is two tail test, one more is left tail test, one more is right tail test. Okay. Hence the decision about applying the two tail test or single tail test will mainly depends on the nature of the problem. What is called the nature of the problem? Through one example we can discuss through one example. In case the teacher taking class in the beginning of the year, he conducting one test. He takes all the marks of the student. Then he feel that the performance of the student is not better, then give some coaching class. After that, once again he take, after coaching class, he takes one more test. Then he takes the marks of the students. Now what should be happened? The marks of the student before taking coaching class should be less than after taking coaching class. That is the one nature of the problem. Okay. Second nature of the problem. Second nature of the problem is, in case the person feel that he is so fat, that means overweight, then he meet the doctor. He gives some diet tablets. He gives some diet tablets. Regularly he taking the diet tablets for 1 month. After 1 month, once again he go to meet the doctor. What should be happen? Weight should be reduced after taking that diet tablet. That is one more nature of the problem. So here, in case first one is that student marks before coaching class taken as mu1, after coaching class mean mu2. Okay. So what should be happen? H naught is mu1 equal to mu2. There is no change between that before taking coaching class, after taking coaching class. But the alternative hypothesis based on the physical nature of the problem, what should be that alternative hypothesis? Mu1 less than mu2. Similarly, in the second example, before taking that diet tablet, he is overweight. He take that mean mu1. Then after taking the diet tablet, mean mu2. What is the null hypothesis? H naught mu1 equal to mu2. That means there is no difference between that before taking diet tablet, after taking diet tablet. So what should be that alternative hypothesis? H1 is mu1 greater than mu2. Mu1 greater than mu2. That means that weight should be reduced after taking diet tablet. Okay, this is single tail test. One is left tail test and one more is right tail test. Okay, fine. Then two tail test. One simple example. In case if you are producing some car parts, for example bolt, it is a very specific part. Even if it is less length or greater length, in the both the cases the bolt will not be acceptable. In both the cases the bolt will be rejected by a company. Therefore here we have to fix that mu1 equal to mu2 is H naught, and then H1 is mu1 is not equal to mu2. Since even if it is greater or lesser, then the product will be rejected. Okay. This is the physical nature of the problem. Dear students, up to now we have discussed about that. What is the testing of hypothesis, what is the population, what is the sample, what are the types of samples, and what is called the known population and unknown population, and then what is called the hypothesis, what is called the null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. Okay, fine, thank you.